In the Marxist way of putting it, it's a direct quote from Karl Marx, religion is the opium, right, of the masses, or sometimes translated, religion is the opiate, right, of the masses, right? Religion is a drug. It's an intellectual drug, and what the drug does is it makes people more placid, it makes them more easy to control. Right? So therefore, religion is a tool that is being used to keep the masses in their place. Democracy is a way also of slowing down the progress of the masses. The unions also are serving the same sort of way. So what we have is economic institutions, political institutions, and religious institutions. None of them are going to, from the Marxist perspective, solve the conflict between the classes that exist between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. And so what the Marxists want to argue, therefore, is this whole evolutionary, right, route, right, towards socialism is not going to work. All of these ultimately are just going to serve the interests of the status quo. What we need is harsher measures, and rather than evolution, we need a revolution. Okay, and I've got a quotation here from Marx. Quote, "There is only one means to curtail, simplify, and localize the bloody agony of the old society and the bloody birth pangs of the new. Only one means, the revolutionary terror." So necessarily it has to be a revolution. What we need, right, is a set of individuals who are able to see the conflict between the classes, right, for what it is. To recognize that nonetheless many of the people, even those who are on the receiving end of the pathologies of the given society, that many of those individuals, their energies are going to be co-opted. They'll be co-opted by unions, they'll be co-opted by the democratic process, they will come to believe various sorts of religious institutions. So what has to happen is a small number, right, of individuals have to realize the class conflict for what it is, not be co-opted by these various other institutions instead, but rather take a leadership role in bringing about the revolution that is going to overthrow the established capitalists, all of the politicians, right, who are in their pockets, and all of the religious leaders who are coming along with the window dressing that make everything pretty and so on. Now the question then is going to be, where are we going to get this committed number of revolutionary leaders who are going to be able to lead the proletariat in the direction of the new society, the moral society that is going to be socialism here? And the argument has to be, and it is, right, in Marxism, that if we are going to get the revolutionary leaders, we have to get them before they are conditioned by the existing system. If we go back to the environmental determinism argues that people are born more or less tabula rasa, plastic, to be shaped by the environment into which they are born. If people are born into capitalist society, then to the extent that they are shaped by capitalism's institutions, they are going to come to believe in various respects, capitalism's institutions. They're going to believe in the capitalism's rhetoric about equality and liberty, and aren't those wonderful things? And isn't private property and competition delightful? And yes, maybe there are some difficult issues, and in a nice way, we're working with the unions to develop various reforms as we go along here. And doesn't democracy, right, give people warm, fuzzy feelings, and isn't religion necessary for the moral fabric of society and to give people, right, hope and so forth? All of those things are things that capitalism conditions young people to believe right from day one through 1,000 different cultural institutions. So what we then need, if we're going to develop the revolutionary cadre, or that small number of individuals who are going to be able to bring about the revolution, is we're going to need to get to young people before they have been conditioned by the capitalists and the capitalists' manifold powerful institutions at their disposal. And there are then going to be a number of ways that the Marxists will argue that we have to do this, but certainly education is going to be a central one, because obviously in education we get people when they're young, we get them before they are formed very significantly, and we have access to them for a large number of hours every day, a large number of days every week, and a large number of weeks every year. So it's necessarily going to be through education, right, that the cadre of revolutionaries, right, inspired by Marxism as a philosophy, are going to come into existence, and then by the time they are mature and in a position to take the reins of leadership, be the ones who bring about the revolution.